Hello everyone, welcome back.
The
So I haven't made a video for some time, and quite frankly, I think I'll start making videos a lot often. I think I should. The thing is, I don't want to repeat myself, and I do repeat myself in the videos. Uh, there's only there is a limit to the things that I can address. So, but maybe I'll try to make more videos. And as you can see, I'm a starting YouTuber, so if you could like recommend and to your friends and subscribe and like, that could help me out actually quite a bit for a starting YouTuber. Uh, we have over here a debate, I guess, between Andrew Wilson and this chick over here. Um, Andrew Wilson, if you don't know the guy, he's a professional debater. He's a Christian, he's on the right. Let's
Santana,
go.
hold on, wait, bring it in real quick. Hey guys, Andrew Wilson's in the request box, so I don't know if we're gonna. He's watching us on YouTube right now, but it's up to you guys. Just
Who's
saying.
Andrew Wilson?
He runs this really big YouTube channel called The Crucible, and he's like he likes debating, but yeah, he's a very far right MAGA dude. Me and Santana's debated him a few times, but
Oh, is that the
yeah,
weird guy
that could
that?
be a little bit dicey. If you
Oh
get
yeah,
some
no,
shit.
bring him.
Right
Okay, all right. Now,
By the way, Andrew Wilson is a professional debater. He's also entertaining. Unfortunately, I will say he is entertaining because he's kind of an asshole. And because of his assholish behavior, he is entertaining, which I bet you will see here. uh, but he's smart, so try to go to him and check some of his videos. He's kind of a. You will see why I find him a good debater. He also is on whatever podcast quite often. So you might already know who he is, but if you don't, check this guy out. And don't fall for his assholish behavior, right? Don't fall for it. He he can he can debate very well, but is he a good debater? Because his assholish debater is, I think, wrong. Because the point of the debate is to find what is the truth. That is the point of the debate for me. And if you're acting like an asshole, you're not helping in that goal. Actually, quite the opposite. So he is a very entertaining though. So go ahead and check it out. Check
no,
him
hey, I
out.
just
I
had to
want to
warn
meet
this.
him.
Yeah, I just want to.
Andrew?
What's up, man?
Hello, how are you?
Everyone is very positive
Two
about
rules.
this.
You mute, you
Where
lose.
you
If
from?
you mute, you
Hey,
lose.
hey,
You kick,
hey,
you
hey,
lose.
hey, hey,
You don't set
hello,
the
I'm
rules.
speaking.
Here we go. Not even a minute. Didn't have to wait a minute. Welcome to the asshole Andrew Wilson. He just he asked for an invitation. His invitation was accepted. The first words from his mouth, these are the rules. I mean, what the hell, dude? You know that first impression exists, right? You just presented yourself as an asshole. Not only that, you just. It is her channel. Who gives you the right to dictate the terms on her channel? You should ask for permission, shouldn't you? That's how it should be, at least. I think that's how it should. So, if this is a debate, already the debate is going in the wrong direction, and that is because of you. Let's call it a level down for you, Andrew, for this start. Now, I understand why he does it. Because he is being muted, I guess, all the time, because he says things that other people don't like, or in order to not maybe it pisses him off because he can't finish his sentence. So I also think that if you're having a debate, using the mute button should be disallowed, right? Still, that is not the way to address this issue. That's a level down for you, Andrew.
Just saying.
Weirdo.
You
Hey,
need to
I
lose.
don't care about your rules.
You
Age
don't
is
set the
41. I'm
rules,
from
weirdo.
Michigan.
We
Hey.
weren't even trying to be disrespectful. We were just telling you hi. That's all.
I would like for you to have some type of coof. You might never have had that before. You may not know what that word means, but maybe
What's
like a
it
little
mean?
decorum. Can you state your age, where you're from, and who you voted for?
All right, and she's completely right. He acted inappropriately, so she said that no, this is not the place for that. This is my channel. Stay respectful. Now, tell me who you are. What's your age? Who you voted on? She is completely fair over here. Although she kind of sounds a bit smuggy in it, but considering how he started, she might be in her feelings. As a debater, she should not be in her feelings, but it is
Yeah,
understandable.
I'm from Michigan.
So right now she is a better debater than
And
Andrew
I'm 41. I
What
can't.
happened?
You keep muting me. I can't talk.
I'm not touching
Your
my phone,
mod must have
darling.
done it then. But
Oh.
yeah, anyway, so I'm
I'm
40,
just chilling. We're good.
41. I'm from Michigan, and I voted for Donald Trump.
Okay. Why'd you vote for Donald Trump?
Well, I actually came up to argue MAGA is the definition of insanity, which is your prompt. Are you willing to engage in that by telling me what insanity is and how MAGA fits the definition of that?
Do you feel as though you're insane?
That's
Okay, that's a level down for her. I mean, she let him in order to talk about her statement, right? Like, she has MAGA is the definition of insanity, and below it's written opposition only. So she invites people to talk about this statement. Well, playing the devil's advocate, maybe she has some script, right, that she wants to follow while debating those words. But Andrew came here to debate directly without her playbook. The words playbook doesn't actually fit into all of this. It's kind of a not nice way of defining what I mean, but you get the idea, right? She has a specific way of having this debate. Now, possibly, right? It's my guess. But he is here to address MAGA as the definition of insanity. So he goes on with his first question. And that's a very important question. Can you explain this? MAGA is the definition of insanity. What is MAGA? Why insane? Okay, let's go into it, right? That is the reason why she's doing this, right? So yeah, this is like 100% on the topic. I don't get why she asks this question.
I mean, what insanity is
the
and
question
how MAGA
was-
fits the definition of that.
Do you feel as though you're insane?
Do you feel as if you are insane? What would be the reason of asking that question in the first place? That's there is a description for that. Emotional messaging? No, that's not emotional messaging. Kind of is. But what would be the reason of asking that question, right? There's an insinuation there that he is insane. Do you feel as if you're insane? Why would I ask you a question like that? I mean, do you feel you are a moron? Why would I ask you a question like that? Guys, do you feel that you are insane? Do you feel that you are morons? What would be your response to that? Well, that's a level down. That's not actually debating, that's childish behavior to me. You shouldn't be asking questions like that, and she is trying to make him act emotionally. Right? That's not how you seek the truth. That's not how good debate should be handled.
That's answering my question with a question. Can you answer my question?
You've
Okay, fair enough. He gave a response. That's not, yeah, answer my
feel as though
question.
you're
Can you
Okay.
answer my question?
And she asks the question again. So she very much wants to make an emotional, create an emotional response in him, and he's not having it. Actually, he just answers, "No, I don't have a question. I have this question. Can you answer it? I have a question. Can you answer it? I have a question. Can you answer it?" Completely calm. She will give up eventually. This tactic won't
But
work.
now is
on
MAGA
him.
the definition of insanity? Can you please answer
Told you
me?
he's about to get started right now, guys.
Do you feel as though you're insane?
I don't. Do you keep asking me a question instead of answering my question? It's your
Because it's
prompt.
pissing you
MAGA
off.
is the definition of insanity.
Yep, it is her prompt. He expected. He is completely sane over here. Okay, I guess. He started off badly, but now he is debating in a correct way.
Because
Can
you
you-
came on
For
my
me.
live like you own something.
Are you gonna
so I'm
answer?
gonna let you know that you don't.
So you can't answer. You can't
I'm
answer.
He did
going
come
to
up
say
here
what I
kind
want.
of.
Okay, so okay, so she is doing this because she's triggered, right? She, as she said, he came onto his her platform, she started making rules, etc. That was a bad behavior from him, but she can't let it go, right? He started debating, and she is still not letting it go. Now she is acting irresponsibly. This is a level down for her. Well, okay, he wanted to show who is the boss over here. Okay? You told him, hey, calm down. This is how we address. This is how we debate over here. There is a quorum over here, and decorum. I think that's the word. Decorum over here. Who you are? What's your name? Why you voted on Trump? No, I wanted to ask about actually the MAGA is the definition of insanity. Can you tell me something more about that? Right? Then she violates her own decorum because she wants to put him down. Because why? I can only assume she is triggered. That's the only logical response, I think.
To be honest.
Yeah, you
You were
can't.
gonna
You
come
can't
up here
answer.
He's
to-
very hostile, and I match energy.
You can't
That's
answer.
the part. That's the
Okay.
part that he may not.
Oh, so he broke the decorum, so you are breaking the decorum. So why the rules anyways? You are matching the energy. What's the point of the decorum if every single time someone breaks the decorum, you are breaking the decorum? What's the point of rules over here? This is
Not know
childish.
or may not understand.
Yeah, you're real tough
So
with a
I'm
mute
gonna
button.
Continuously match
You're such a
energy.
savage
So
with a
you feel
mute
as though you're
button.
Again, level down with Andrew. God damn it! This isn't a debate. This is just like two children in a sandbox throwing sand at
You're
each
so
other.
savage with a
I'll
with a
say
mute
this,
button.
just
So
to
savage.
Kind of moving along, if it's
But I will say that's why mute button shouldn't be used. Sorry. Although Andrew is acting like an asshole, so well, this will be a tough
it's
one.
okay with you, Mermaid, I mean,
Absolutely.
I'll give the specific definition: the state of being seriously mentally ill, madness, or extreme foolishness or irrationality.
Wait, what's the definition?
Savage.
Kind of moving along, if it's okay with you, Mermaid, I mean,
Absolutely.
I'll give the specific definition: the state of being seriously mentally ill,
The state of being seriously
madness,
mentally ill
or extreme
Madness?
foolishness
or
or
extreme foolishness
irrationality.
or irration. The irrationality is the definition of irrationality. You can't say insanity is irrationality. That's strange. Or it means extreme, what was it? Extreme foolishness or irrationality, meaning extreme irrationality. But what does it mean? Extreme irrationality or extreme foolishness? That's what is extreme? Extreme is like based on personal opinion. Well, what is extreme to you might not be extreme to me. So the definition is kind of a meh, not that precise, right? That extreme irrationality and extreme foolishness. If I think this is extreme foolishness, that means this is extreme foolishness. And this might cause issues in this debate.
I definitely think that falls into the category of people who claim to be MAGA. You see that in multiple instances when there's cognitive dissonance. You have certain people that when Donald Trump was not president, still proclaiming him to be president and actually saying that he was secretly running the military.
Okay, so referring to people that in a situation when Donald Trump was not the president, but there were people who thought that, no, he's running the country, he's just doing this undercover, and the military listens to him, so he is like still the supreme commander. Does that fall under insanity? Well, it's not mentally ill, it's not madness, extreme foolishness, or extreme irrationality. It is very irrational. It is also foolishness. Okay, let's call it insanity. Yes, that is an example of
While
insanity.
Joe Biden actually ran as the president. I mean, that's, serious, a mental disconnection. But then you talk about extreme foolishness or being irrational, and those same people who literally erect gold statues of Donald Trump and dress up in Donald Trump paraphernalia and continue to actually spread the quote unquote gospel of
People that are having golden statues of Donald Trump and spreading gospel, what he says as gospel. Oh, that's a very religious approach. It does sound insane to me
Donald Trump.
also.
You have certain people who we speak with
Bible.
on a daily basis who talk about how much they love Donald Trump. They call Donald Trump their
Okay, but that refers, as he said, there are certain people who do this. Sure, okay, I can give you that. Yes, those are examples of insanity of certain people, as you said. The claim is MAGA is the definition of insanity. MAGA as the movement. That means every single person. You're not actually proving that every single person acts
daddy,
like that.
their words, and then they continue to actually praise him no matter what the situation is, where you can literally say, well, this is something that Joe Biden said, and they can say, oh, it's a horrible thing, and then you follow it up, well, that was actually Donald Trump, and they immediately switch and say, well, it's okay. So I think those factors
Irrationality.
actually
Can you
cause MAGA to fall
actually
into
demonstrate it?
MAGA falls into the category of being insane.
Okay, hold on. Because of those individual situations, the whole movement is insane. That requires a small rant, maybe not a small one even, because this is something I encountered, and I do have conversations with people, and to be fair, I do it through internet, so I'm guessing only the worst of the worst are like that. But, well, like, is every single person on the internet insane? No, right? No. And there are plenty of people on the internet, right? We are in the information era, so plenty of people are on the internet. But mostly the people that are on the internet, well, I guess, those people are the minority. So, if I would use your way of thinking and those people on the internet, if they acted insane, well, that means the left is insane. That gives me the right to say that the left is insane. If people that I encounter on the internet are insane? No, it doesn't. Right? Doesn't that just because there are some individuals in that group that are acting insanely, that doesn't mean the movement is insane. Like, it would have to be like above 50% at least. No, maybe not at least, but it had to be a huge number. You would have to demonstrate that. What you are now demonstrating is that those people exist, and sure, I completely agree, those people exist. What is the percentage? That should be addressed.
Can you demonstrate that MAGA's actually insane? That they're
I
in a
literally
severe
just
state
gave
of
you
mental.
specific
Hang on.
examples.
Let me ask the question.
So are you referring
mental
to
illness, severe mental
we
illness?
Actually, are we medically diagnosing each individual?
Okay, so divide and conquer, if you don't know, is a very popular method. What does it mean? If you have a definition of insanity, that it is mentally illness, in order to be insane, you have to be mentally ill, or mad, or be extremely irrational, or being extremely what was the fourth one? Foolishness, right? Or extreme foolishness. So we have 4 variables inside that definition. What divide and conquer does is, let's address every single piece of this definition separately. So this is what Andrew does. It's a very popular method, and it's a very good method. So first, he forgets about rest of the definition. He takes first variable, and possibly his plan is prove to me that this variable is true. If you want, let's skip to the next variable, right? Then prove to me that it is madness. If they want to prove that it is madness, okay, prove to me that it is foolishness. And attacking each variable separately. That is divide and conquer. Okay, so that's your
Are
plan,
they severely,
right?
is
we're
MAGA
not
severely
medically
mentally ill?
No, we're as a collective group, yes.
And
As a
muted again.
Wait, he just said as a collective group, yes. As a collective group. Okay, so first he said that some people, now he says as a collective group. That means all of them. So some of them or all of them, you can't have both. And quite frankly, if you are making a statement like that every single MAGA is insane, that sounds insane. You can't have, like, of course there are some insane people in that movement, but it's a huge movement. It's completely irrational to think that every single person is like that. You're showing insanity over here according to the definition you gave, right? That's extreme irrationality. It's a huge group. How Donald Trump won? Plenty of people, like millions and millions of people, voted on the guy. That's complete irrationality.
Yeah, and, like I'm not even allowed to ask the question.
Hold on one second. I don't know who's muting, but Mermaid, can you ask your mods or whoever, please stop muting
Yeah,
him?
guys, don't touch him. Let him.
We're good. We got this. We can
Yeah.
have- we
So
can have
let's
this,
just start one step at a time. When you're talking about mental illness, a state of being, or you're saying that insanity is a state of being seriously mental ill. Madness would be the
Mentally
definition.
ill,
Can you
madness, yeah.
go ahead and
Okay. I forgot what I wanted to address the last time I spoke, so let me address it now. There is something I noticed. It is, I will call this group responsibility. There was this situation some time ago. I think it was during the Harris or Biden, I don't know. It was during the election. Was it Harris? What is it, Biden? But it was versus Trump, right? There was this, like, an event or something, and there was this group of college students, I believe. There was also this Indian guy was like doing this, playing music, right? Playing music like the Indian music. I thought it cool. It was cool. But there was this group of students, and he stood in front of this one guy from that group. One student from that group. And that student had a MAGA hat. What I saw that happened next is like people calling this guy disgusting, etc. The response was extremely strange. And this guy, he hadn't spoken a single word to the Indian guy. The Indian guy just kept on playing. He was just smiling. That's it. He never spoke a word. Yet, this whole group of accusations went toward this guy, this one guy, this college guy, because he was wearing a MAGA hat. Imagine that. Imagine me. In my right hand, I have a MAGA hat, and in my left hand, I have a Joe Biden hat. I put on the MAGA hat. Boom! Suddenly, I support everything that Trump does. I took off the MAGA hat. I put on the Joe Biden hat. Suddenly, I support everything that Joe Biden does. I take off. I put on the MAGA hat. Again, I support everything that Trump does. I'm sorry, you can't do this. Imagine me doing this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. I changed the hat 9 times. How did my opinion about anything changed during all of this? Well, it didn't change at all. I still had the same opinions. So how is it that the hat defines everything that I do? Right? I have a MAGA hat. That means I stand for everything that Trump does. How does that happen? How can you think like that? That's not how people work. People are like, I agree 70% here, I agree 30% here, I agree 60% here, and I agree 40% here. That's how people work. It's never like absolute. Absolute. I think absolute is the word. It's never absolute. And that hat defines me. That is group responsibility. And I can see it in politics like everywhere. It's freaking everywhere. You do this, that means you stand for this and this and this. You have a hat, okay, that means you stand for this, and for this. You can't do that to people. People are individuals. It never is like that. You are acting against individualism. But people are individuals. That is our nature. There are no... Find me two people that are exactly the same. There are none. There is no example of two exact same people. There are people that have multiple similarities. That's all. You can't find two exact same people. Even a clone will make a different decision than you do. The clone can change his mind and have a different opinion because the experience of a clone will not equal your experience. You can't do that because that is not how humanity works. And you're living in a world where humanity is the dominant species. By applying group responsibility, as long as group responsibility will be dominant or will exist, if it is dominant, as long as it will exist, there will be the discourse between those people and other people will be impossible. If these people are applying group responsibility, this conversation, this debate is already over. There's no point in it. There is no point talking with them. They are applying group responsibility. They already know who they are talking with because they already started with it, right? They started with Andrew Wilson is this far left mega guy. That's all they need to know. They already know what he stands for. They don't need him in the conversation. They can assume everything. And that making those assumptions is the group responsibility. What's the point of Andrew being in this conversation in the first place then? They already can answer for him because of group responsibility. What's the point of the discussion? The debate is over. That's why you can't use group responsibility. You are prohibiting any debates between you and everyone else. If you are doing that, this is one of the few times that I will say what you should do. Stop it. Don't do that. It's wrong.
Prove that MAGA. Hang on. Let me ask the question. Let me just ask the question.
I wanted to make sure that I finished it. You didn't finish the actual,
Yeah, I know, because I'm breaking the definition down one step at a time.
Mhm.
So definitions can allude to multiple things. In this case, we're talking about
Are definitions
seriously
descriptive
mentally
or
ill.
prescriptive?
They're descriptive. So anyway, mentally
good. Just
ill.
wanna make
When
sure
you're talking
we're
about
separate.
mental illness, is MAGA mentally ill? Can you demonstrate that?
Yeah, again, I gave you specific examples of the cognitive.
Those are individuals,
dissonance
not
that
MAGA.
certain people.
Exactly. Andrew is right. You are pointing to individuals. Show me that MAGA is made fully of those individuals. That's how you can prove that MAGA is the definition
Exactly.
of insanity.
It's a collective
Oh,
state.
great. So
When you
then liberals are mentally
when you
ill if I can point out
when
mental
you have
illness.
He said it's a collective state. What?
Liberals.
when you have multiple people that actually believe the same exact thing. Hey, Andrew, how many people believe the big lie?
What's the big lie?
You know exactly what the big lie
I don't know. What
do
is it?
that. You're being disingenuous.
Oh my God. It's okay. Let's unpack this. Oh my God! I just noticed. Look at her. Look at her. Let me rewind
Big lie.
this.
What's the big lie?
You
Look
know
at
exactly
her.
what the big lie
I don't know. What
Don't
is
do
it?
that. You're being
What? She is not trying to find the truth. She is trying to win the debate. Uh-huh. What is that? I gotcha? Or what? Are you insane? Oh, look. Look, guys. He is insane. Or what does that look tell you? What does that look tell you? This is far from a debate. But let's address what was said. Look how this
believe
went.
the big lie.
How many people believe in
What's
the
the big
big
lie?
lie? What is the
You
big
know
lie?
exactly what the big lie.
You know exactly
Don't
what
know.
the
What
big
is
lie
it?
is.
You're being
I don't know.
disingenuous.
You're being disingenuous. All right? That's how the conversation went. What is the big? How many people believe in big lie? What is the big lie? You know. No, I don't. You're being disingenuous. Okay. Let's unpack this. Having a debate requires a couple of things. One of them, of course, the point of the debate is seeking the truth. But how can you seek the truth if you're biased? And every single person is biased. Okay? Of course. Of course, every single person is. So, in order to actually have the debate, you need to fight with yourself. You need to fight with your own bias. How to do that? There is a way. From at the moment where the debate starts, you become a complete moron. That's how. You forget about everything that you knew. Everything that you knew becomes questionable. You reinvent the wheel from the moment where the debate starts. You address with everything that is said as if you heard it the first time. That's how you debate in good faith. You are letting your bias go. You try to rethink everything again. That's how you debate in good faith, without fight with having this state when you are fighting with your bias. And this is what Andrew does. At the point of the debate, he doesn't know anymore what the big lie is, because he doesn't know anything. He is in the state when he tries to play the advocate of the other side. He doesn't know. He is forcing himself to not know anything in order to fight his own biases. And that is a good approach. What is shocking in all of this is that his opposition, doesn't know that. The opposition deface. They don't know how to fight their own bias during a debate. They have no idea what Andrew is doing. This technique, call it whatever you want. They don't know about it. And how many debates did they have? They are not prepared to have a debate in good faith. They are not prepared to forget about everything they know and play the advocate of the other side. How exactly can you have a single debate without doing that? No, every single debate that they had was quite possibly in bad faith. How can they not know what Andrew is doing? And quite frankly, they call Andrew disingenuous. Basically, by trying to be unbiased, he is disingenuous. That means, what does that mean? Well, that means the conversations can be only done in a biased way. That's what they are used to. A huge level down for them. A huge level down.
Why do you think that I can read your mind, dude?
No, no.
Yeah, that's the approach. Yeah. I don't know anything. I don't read your mind. You tell what
No,
do
because
you
you know
mean?
the big lie, as it's colloquially.
Of course, he is right. Andrew knows. But for the sake of debate, he shouldn't know.
Known is Donald Trump talking about the 2020 election being stolen from him. And again, as a collective group, MAGA actually said that the 20
No assumptions. That's another part of it, of this state. You don't assume what other people think. Because if you do assume, then your bias might take over in that assumption. That's too risky. Don't assume anything. Let the person tell. Why? That's the perfect solution to this. Let the person say what he means.
2020 election was stolen from Donald Trump. Donald Trump still proclaims that as of today, but when Donald Trump actually was elected again, most MAGA supporters finally let that go, and now
I'm actually willing to
Joe
grant.
Biden won it.
So I'm actually willing to grant. Let us assume for a moment that MAGA, all of them collectively, had a false belief. Let's just say it was in something that you might think was even more silly, perhaps God. Maybe they had a collective belief in something like God, and you thought that that was delusional. Can you actually demonstrate that that's them being mentally ill or severe?
Okay. So, according to Andrew, having a belief doesn't really prove that someone is mentally ill. Now, being an advocate of the other side, if I see a person in pajamas in the middle of a busy street in the center of the town saying that aliens control my mind, I don't need a medical degree that that person is insane. And I have every right to think that that person is insane. I'm sorry. That's sure, that person could be joking or whatever, I guess. Why would that person be joking? You're in the middle of the road. You will, I don't know, police will lock you up or something. They would throw you into a psych ward. Why would you risk that? No, that person is insane. No, am I a doctor? No, of course. But that definitely falls under the definition of insanity. So it depends of what kind of belief we're talking about. So let's talk about the election. For example, if I believe that there was enough uncovered fraud that would sway the election, well, is it insanity? Maybe. Maybe it is. Now, if it would be like a 70% support for Joe Biden in every state and 30% support for Trump, that would be insane to think that there is enough fraud that would change the outcome of the election. Now, if there would be 1% difference in each state, like literally 1% of a difference in each state, then that's completely reasonable to think. So the question is if it was a close race, if it was a enough close race to think that belief is not insane. It's a spectrum, right? It's hard to decide where this line is crossed. As far as I know, the election was very close between Joe Biden and Trump. So I don't know. And there are stories. There were people found that after the election that were committing fraud, election fraud. There were charges for those people. I don't know how it went, if the person went to jail or not, but there were charges. Now, is that enough to say that the election was stolen? Again, it's hard to tell. If that happened in every state? Well, it could be, I guess, if it did, but it didn't happen in every state, right? Because it didn't. But we're talking about uncovered fraud. So the big question over here is it insane to think that? Well, definitely we know one thing. Doesn't matter if there was fraud or there wasn't. Even if there was enough fraud that would overturn the election, Joe Biden won. The end. That's the end of the story. Joe Biden was the winner. Even if there was fraud. Sorry. You can't just throw out the rules because of the fraud. I'm sorry. Police didn't do their job. That's the issue. Maybe next time, put more mechanisms in place if you believe that it was fraudulent. And deal with it. You lost. But is it insane to have a belief in a close race? I don't know how close it is, but just knowing that it was a close race, I wouldn't call that insanity.
Severely mentally ill or having madness. Them believing even something you think is a lie doesn't mean that they're mentally ill, sir. Can you demonstrate that portion of it?
Okay.
Oh, he goes even further. Even believing in something that is a lie.
So I just want to
So-
step in for
Go
a
ahead,
second.
Marmite.
When I'm speaking about MAGA, when I'm speaking specifically about MAGA, I'm not talking about all Republicans, right? Because I've had very many conversations with Donald Trump supporters who can actually hold a conversation, who actually come with facts. They understand what they're talking about, right? I'm speaking about people who blindly follow this man and every single thing that he does. Everything that he does, they will follow and they will say that it's okay. At some point, when you are not mentally capable of understanding right from wrong, just in
But wouldn't you just
Wait. Hold your horses. Did she said what I... No. She didn't say
conversations
that.
with Donald Trump supporters who can out MAGA. I'm not.
Oh,
for
Go
a
ahead,
second.
Marmite. Mhm.
When I'm speaking about MAGA,
When I'm speaking about MAGA, so she is explaining what MAGA means in that statement above, right? MAGA is the definition of insanity. She explains what MAGA
when I'm
means.
speaking specifically about MAGA, I'm not talking about all Republicans, right? Because I've had very many conversations with Donald Trump supporters who can actually hold a
Okay, not all Republicans are in MAGA, in that group.
conversation, who actually come with facts. They understand what they're talking about, right? I'm speaking about people who blindly follow this
People who blindly follow Trump are in that group. So those insane people we talked about
man and
earlier.
every single thing that he does. Everything that he does, they will follow and they will say that it's okay. At some point, when you are not mentally capable of understanding right from wrong,
Okay, yes, those people are
just
insane.
but wouldn't you just
in
apply that to
sense,
all parties?
Oh my gosh, she actually does. Now this is insanity. Okay. If I understood this correctly, correct me if I am wrong. There is a town, and there is a group, citizens of town A. Or let's call it citizens of town MAGA, right? And there are normal everyday civilians in that town, and there is an insane asylum in that town. She ignores every single person, every citizen of town MAGA. They don't belong to a group called citizens of town MAGA. She takes only those people that are in the insane asylum, and only those people to her are members of the group called Citizens of Town MAGA. And that's how MAGA is the definition of insanity. Because every single person in MAGA is insane. What in hell? Are you serious about this? This is the most disingenuous. It's not even disingenuous. It is an insane way. Like, hey, in order to tell that Earth has no moons, I will qualify our moon as a moon of Jupiter. Thus, the Earth has no moons. This is insanity. What the hell? This is not a disingenuous argument. This is an insane argument. Jesus goddamn Christ! I can't. Sorry, I need to pause. This. Okay. I had a smoke. I even googled MAGA in the time being. It seems like I wanted to play the advocate of the other side, although this is insanity. MAGA, if you voted on Donald Trump, does that automatically mean that you are part of MAGA, right? She groups all the insane people in that group, and that's why she calls MAGA the definition of insanity, as I said with the moon. Okay, I think I'll make this video a clickbait and just write that left is the definition of insanity, because I can do the same with the left. Okay, using this way of thinking, every single person is insane. That's the problem. Because there are insane people in every group. There is no, sanity no longer exists using this way of thinking. So I tried to play the advocate of the other side and okay. What does it mean to be a MAGA, right? What is MAGA? So I started Googling, and from what I Googled, MAGA is a slogan and became like the motto of the movement. No, people don't work like that. There are insane people, I'm not talking about them. But people usually are like, yeah, I agree in 60%, I agree in 70% or something like that. Where's the point where you can call yourself MAGA? I don't know, let's make it a 75, because that is not neutral, right? I agree with him 50%, I disagree with him 50%. That's kind of a neutral position. So I don't think that's enough to call someone MAGA. That it's still agreeing in 50%, right? And that is a neutral position. So you would have to be like at least 75. Well, does that make you insane suddenly because I agree with 75? I mean, that's a huge stretch. But she doesn't even mean the 75%. She means 99% and above. Only those people are members of MAGA. The whole world is insane. Congratulations. I am wondering, should I make this clickbait? I guess I should. Better to receive hate than receive nothing, I guess. I guess. I don't know. It is publishment in some way, right? That's not the proper sentence. It doesn't matter.
Partisan
Let's
hacks.
continue.
That would be
Well,
Wouldn't you just apply that to all partisan hacks? So the left, you would say, would
No.
also fit the definition of insanity? If
Yeah.
I could point to
No, I
partisan
would
hacks
not. Yeah.
who followed leftist agendas, which were insane?
well, I would say
No,
I'll
why
say-
not? How's that consistent?
Wait, so can I just okay? So
How is that
No.
consistent? Hey, let her answer, dude. How is that consistent?
Yo, I wasn't raised on
because
voice at you.
I
man,
have
relax.
never, I have, me personally, in my experience, have never met a person on the left who will blindly follow after anyone. We will condemn someone when they have a problem or when they are doing something that we do not agree with. Whereas MAGA specifically,
You have not met a single person on the left that is insane. Fine. That sounds improbable, seeing as you make insane statements yourself. You possibly are finding people that are like you, and those are the insane people, possibly. But let's grant the argument. You haven't met those people. I'm sorry. It is still insane to think that there are no insane people on the left. That's a huge portion of population. There is no way there are no insane people in that group. There is no way. Again, that's the definition of insanity. How can you apply a rule to 50% of people and say part of these people are insane, but not apply the same rule to the other 50% group, of the second group, other 50% of people? How I need a break.
will not condemn anything that that man does. If he goes outside and on a stick and hands it to you guys, you will say it's the greatest thing in the world. Specific people.
So your actual position is
MAGA.
that leftists do not follow trains of propaganda and aren't partisan hacks, but rather all of them.
Left doesn't have partisan hacks. There are no insane people on the left. That's the thing. I mean, what we are right, you are insane. What I say is right, what you say is wrong. I define what normality is, what is normal for you to think. I mean, Jesus Christ. How to solve this problem? That's the big question. If this girl would see my video, she would not change. I don't think she will. I don't think she would. She would not see the errors that she is making. She would not start playing the advocate of the other side. Although she did meet some Republicans, as she said, with whom she can converse. That's good news. Now, the insane guys, yeah, there is no point in conversing with those insane guys. Look, it will drive you insane if you will try talking with an insane person. That is true, I think, at least. If you are trying to understand insanity, then you will become insane yourself. There is no point in conversing with an insane person. And if you are trying to do that, no wonder you are coming up with this insane ways of thinking. What you should do is leave the political field. It already has done damage to you, to your way of thinking, and not only you can't have even you can't even have a good faith debate. You don't know how to approach a debate in order to have a good faith debate. We talked about this. I spoke about this in this video. So That's it. This is where I will finish. Let's see how this
Judge
ends.
independently
Do
in
you feel
an
as though
unbiased
do you feel
way.
as though this fits you? Do you feel as though this fits you? Because
What does that have to do with anything?
Hit dog is gonna holler.
What does
But
that have to do with
feel as though-
anything?
Do you feel as though that you
I
are
think it applies to
a
you.
definition, a definite hello? I'm speaking.
I'm
Calm
answering your
down.
question.
Thank you.
I feel like it
You
applies to
can
you.
stop speaking over me.
Oh my
Hey,
God,
hey,
you're
hey.
a strong woman.
Oh my, more childish behavior. She is again trying to like create a emotional response in him, and he is like being an asshole. So yeah, this clip is slowly getting. Yeah, I'll end here. Have a good one, guys. Cheers. Bye bye.